afternoon and welcome to the 1 p.m. agenda of the Committee on Housing. It's Tuesday, February 9th, 2021. This meeting, including the audio and video of remote participants, is being streamed live on YouTube. You will find links to viewing options for all Senate meetings on the live and on-demand video page on the legislature's website. In the unlikely event that we have to abruptly end this hearing due to major technical difficulties, the committee will reconvene to discuss any outstanding business at 1 p.m. on Thursday, February 11th, in room 225, and a public notice will be posted on the legislature's website. For the people participating remotely, all testifier audio will be muted and video disabled until shortly before it is your turn to testify. Please note, there will be a time limit of 2 minutes per testifier. If there are temporary technical glitches during your turn to testify, we may have to move on to the next person due to time constraints. We appreciate your understanding and remind you that the committee has written testimony. At this time, I'd like to recognize committee members Vice Chair Drew Kanuha, as well as Senator Moriwaki and Senator Favela. Our first measure on today's agenda is Senate Bill 4, relating to inclusionary zoning. It prohibits any law, ordinance, or rule from imposing an inclusionary zoning requirement on housing offered exclusively for sale, perpetuity to buyers who are residents of the state, owner-occupants, and own no other real property. Our first testifier on Senate Bill 4, there are several testifiers on Senate Bill 4. Our first is Ellen Godby Carson, an individual, followed by Maui Chamber of Commerce, Faith Action for Community Equity, and Faith Action Housing Now. Is there anyone wishing to testify on this measure who has not been called? Okay, members, any discussion on Senate Bill 4? If not, we'll proceed to the next item on today's agenda, which is Senate Bill 10, related to affordable housing, which requires counties to adopt rules allowing religious and educational institutions to build affordable housing units on land they own regardless of current zoning restrictions. The first testifier is Ellen Godby Carson in support, followed by Grassroots Institute of Hawaii with comments. Hang on 1 second. Okay, the third item on today's agenda is Senate Bill 33, relating to housing supply plans. It requires each county to prepare a housing supply plan to plan for projected increases in the state's housing supply to meet housing demands of the respective county, etc. Okay, our first testifier for this measure. There's no one who's requesting oral testimony, and there's several testifiers. They are Christy McPherson and Kathy Jaycox, 2 individuals, as well as the Maui Chamber of Commerce and Faith Action for Community Equity, all in support. Is there anyone else wishing to testify on Senate Bill number 33? Okay, members, any discussion? Okay, if not, we'll proceed to Senate Bill 1337 relating to housing density. This authorizes counties to establish a block-level upzoning program to allow homeowners within a block located in an urban district to vote to increase the housing density for the respective block. We have 2 testifiers with comments, the Grassroots Institute of Hawaii, and in support, Ellen Godby Carson. Anyone else wishing to testify on SB 1337? Okay. If not, members, any discussion on SB 1337? Okay, we'll move next to the next bill on our agenda, which is SB 39 relating to housing. This removes the limit on eligible costs for exemption from the general excise tax for development of affordable rental housing certified by the Hawaii Housing Finance and Development Corporation. And we have 2 testifiers who are requesting oral testimony. First is Hawai'i Housing Finance and Development Corporation in support.
Thank you very much, Chair Denise Matsubara, HHFDC. We stand on a written testimony in support. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next testifier presenting orally will be DLIR with comments.
Good afternoon, Chair, Vice Chair, and members of the committee. We stand on a written testimony with comments, and I'm available for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next testifiers have not requested oral testimony. They are Kohala Coast Resort Association in support, Hawaii Regional Council of Carpenters in support, Linda Schatz and Alana Pakala in support. Any members, any questions for our testifiers or discussion on SB 39? Okay, if not, we'll move forward to the next measure on today's agenda, which is Senate Bill 302 relating to tax credits, which increases the amount of the tax credit for individuals and households and the adjusted gross income eligibility cap for the income tax credit for low-income household renters, using tax brackets for individuals and different categories of households, and providing for annual increases based on the Consumer Price Index. Our first testifier for SB 302, our first two testifiers are requesting oral comments. The first is the Department of Taxation with comments.
Good afternoon, Chair, Vice Chair, members. Josh Michaels on behalf of the directors. We'll stand on our testimony, offering comments.
Thank you. Our next testifier presenting orally is the Tax Foundation of Hawaii with comments.
Not present, Senator.
Thank you. Okay, we have several other testifiers in support. Americans for Democratic Action, League of Women Voters Hawaii, the Mua Alliance, and finally the Hawaii Appleseed Center for Law and Economic Justice, all in support. Okay, that's it. Anyone else wishing to testify on SB 302? If not, members, do we have any questions for the oral testifiers or any discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to SB 840 relating to rent to build equity, which requires developers of housing projects that are exempt from certain laws to enter into profit sharing agreements with tenants of those properties. We have one testifier, Hawaii Housing Finance and Development Corporation, with comments.
Thank you very much, Chair. We offer comments and ask the committee to consider an amendment to apply the measure prospectively. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Members, any questions for the testifier or discussion? And if not, is there anyone else wishing to testify on SB 840 relating to rent to build equity? All right, seeing none, we'll move to the next item on our agenda, SB 1360, relating to the Hawaii Housing Finance and Development Corporation, which requires HHFDC to award funds no later than an unspecified number of days after the deadline to file a consolidated application, or no later than an unspecified number of days after the filing of a duly submitted consolidated application. No deadline has been established by the corporation. Our first testifier, who will be presenting orally, is Hawaii Housing Finance and Development Corporation in opposition.
Thank you very much, Chair, members of the committee. We oppose this measure. If you asked me this question 4 or 5 years ago, my answer probably would have been yes, until becoming way more involved with housing and learning about the financing program. HHFDC uses a competitive process to score and make awards. The length of time to review is really a function of the complexity of the projects and the number of applicants responding to the NOFA. There's concern about setting a hard deadline that will actually reduce the flexibility in being able to ensure applicants meet the threshold requirements. And with the limited capacity, the fear is that we'd have to follow the criteria strictly and allow no flexibility for errors and omissions, which would actually hurt applicants. So consideration there. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Oh, sorry. Our next testifier, on SB 1360 is Victoria Ward Limited with comments. NIOP Hawai'i support, and then Karen Seddon in support, and Alana Pakala in support. Is there anyone else wishing to testify on Senate Bill 1360? Okay, if not, members, do we have any questions for the testifier or any discussion? Senator Moriwaki, please. Senator Moriwaki, you're on mute.
Okay. For Director Matsubara, is there any time frame that would be reasonable? I know you can't have a set time frame in terms of the negotiations that you do and in terms of the number of applicants you have, but something on the outside so that we could move along projects quicker?
So, it generally takes, it all depends, again, as you know, Senator, on the volume and the complexity. Right now, we have a very, very limited staff. We have capacity issues right now. So, anywhere from, I want to say 4 to 5 months, 4 to 6 months. Under general conditions right now, we are constrained by capacity. So, setting a deadline conceivably makes sense, but it will actually hurt applicants in this case where we have very limited capacity. It's going to force them to just take a hard line on all the applicants that don't have sufficient documentation, don't give them a chance to tender supporting documentation for their projects. Errors or omissions, there's no flexibility, it just gets rejected outright. So it would probably not achieve the desired results. But that's generally the time frame under normal conditions. And as we said, we have a capacity issue right now, and we are trying to work on that. So, thank you.
So if you had the capacity, what would that be? I mean, it would be more staff? Is that what you're saying?
More staff, and under normal conditions, the general time frame is about 4 to 6 months for review. Now, if we only have 2 applications, right, very little money, of course it's going to be much faster because it's competitive and you only have 2 projects to compare. But the last big round we had was $100 million and for a dozen applicants, right? So the more you have to compare, the more evaluation you have to do, and the more complex the project, right? There's more time involved. So, thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Members, any further questions for the testifiers? If not, we'll move forward. Was there anyone else wishing to testify on Senate Bill 1360? Okay, if not, we'll move next to Senate Bill 779 relating to housing production, which requires counties to authorize construction for a specified number of new housing units in fiscal year 2021 to 22, 2024 to 25, and it reduces the amount of TAT revenue that counties receive for failure to meet requirements. Our first testifier is Maui Chamber of Commerce with comments, followed by BIA Hawaii in support. Is there anyone else wishing to testify on SB 779? Okay, if not, members, any discussion? Seeing none, we'll move forward to Senate Bill 1276 relating to detached dwellings. Requires each county to adopt ordinances authorizing detached dwelling units that meet certain minimum standards. And we have 2 testifiers. We have the Grassroots Institute of Hawaii with comments, as well as Hawaii Good Neighbor with comments. Okay. Anyone else wishing to testify on Senate Bill 1276? If not, members, do we have any questions or discussion about Senate Bill 1276? Okay. We'll move forward then to the last item on our agenda today, which is Senate Bill 1278 relating to zoning, which allows the counties to adopt rules for the construction of 4-plex dwelling units on lots where single-family dwelling units are permitted in residential areas and in a city with population of 25,000 or more within an urban area. We have two testifiers. We have Grassroots Institute of Hawaii with comments and Hawai'i Good Neighbor in opposition. Anyone else wishing to testify on Senate Bill 1276? If not, members, that brings us to the conclusion of today's agenda. At this point, we'll be recessing to discuss the measures, and then we'll be coming back for decision-making afterwards. All right, we're in recess. Welcome back from recess, members. We are now ready for some decision-making on the items on today's February 9th Committee on Housing agenda. We'll begin with Senate Bill 4 relating to inclusionary zoning. The Chair's recommendation will be to pass with amendments, and the amendments will be to first delete the repeal date on 2026, and we'll also have some technical and non-substantive amendments. So again, the recommendation will be to pass with amendments.
Chair's recommendation for SB 4 is to pass with amendments. Chair Chang.
Looks like you're on mute.
Oh, there we go. Hold on. Can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Chair's recommendations for SB 4 is to pass with amendments. Chair Chang.
Aye.
Vice Chair votes aye. Senator Moriwaki.
Reservation.
Senator Rhodes. Senator Rhodes.
I think I'm unmuted. Aye, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you now. Aye for you. And Senator Favela. Kurt, can you say that again?
Aye.
Okay. Chair, you have 5 ayes. Your recommendation is adopted.
Thank you very much, Vice Chair, and thank you, members. The next bill is Senate Bill 10 relating to affordable housing. Chair's recommendation will be to pass this measure with amendments, and the amendment will be, in addition to affordable, will also permit these institutions to build housing exclusively for Hawaii residents who are owner or renter occupants who own no other real property. And so the recommendation is to pass with amendments.
SB 10, Chair's recommendation is to pass with amendments. Chair Chang.
Aye.
I vote aye. Senator Moriwaki.
Aye.
Senator Rhodes.
Aye.
Senator Favela.
Aye.
5 ayes, Chair. Recommendation is adopted.
Thank you. The next measure is the first of several that have to do with counties on our agenda, and as Senator Moriwaki helpfully pointed out during our recess, it would have been very helpful to have the counties weigh in directly on these measures, and so assuming that these measures move forward in the process, we are hoping that the counties will get to weigh in. The first of these is Senate Bill 33 relating to housing supply plans. The Chair's recommendation will be to pass this unamended, there being no opposition.
Okay, Chair's recommendation for SB 33 is to pass unamended. Chair Chang.
Aye.
Vice Chair votes aye. Senator Moriwaki.
Again, for the same reason, I'm voting reservation. Just for the county to weigh in, hopefully.
Reservations for Senator Moriwaki. Senator Rhodes.
Aye.
Sorry, Carl, I couldn't hear you. Okay, got you. Aye for Carl. Senator Rhodes. Senator Favela.
Reservations.
Okay. Chair, you have 5 ayes. Recommendations adopted.
Thank you. The next measure is Senate Bill 1337 relating to housing density. Again, there was no opposition, and again, we hope that as the bill moves forward, we'll be able to engage some county feedback, but there being no opposition at this point, the recommendation will be to pass unamended.
Chair's recommendation for SB 1337 is to pass unamended. Chair Chang.
Aye.
Vice Chair votes aye. Senator Moriwaki.
Aye.
Senator Rhodes.
Aye.
Senator Favela.
Reservations.
Reservations for Senator Favela. Chair, you have 5 ayes. Recommendations adopted.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Next is Senate Bill 39 relating to housing. The recommendation from the Chair will be to pass with amendments. We'll be taking the amendments from suggested by both the Hawaii Regional Council of Carpenters as well as the SHOTS Collaborative to delete section 104-2I3 in its entirety. So the chair's recommendation will be to pass with amendments.
SB 39, chair's recommendation is to pass with amendments. Chair Chang.
Aye.
Vice Chair votes aye. Senator Moriwaki.
Aye.
Senator Rhodes.
Aye.
Senator Favela.
Aye.
Chair, 5 ayes. Recommendation is adopted.
Thank you. The next measure is Senate Bill 302 relating to tax credits. The chair's recommendation will be to pass with amendments. We'll be taking the Department of Taxation's suggested amendments to use the federal AGI as the threshold determinant for credit eligibility, and also set the inflation increase to occur every 3 years rather than annually. And then we also have technical non-substantive amendments. So again, the chair's recommendation is to pass this measure with amendments.
SB 302, chair's recommendation is to pass with amendments. Chair Chang.
Aye.
Vice Chair votes aye. Senator Moriwaki.
Aye.
Senator Rhodes.
Aye.
Senator Favela.
Aye.
5 ayes. Chair, recommendation is adopted.
Thank you very much. The next measure is Senate Bill 840 relating to rent-to-build equity. The chair's recommendation will be to pass with amendments, in particular the amendment from HHFDC to apply prospectively only to housing projects approved after the bill's effective date. So again, the recommendation will be to pass with amendments.
SB 840, chair's recommendation is to pass with amendments. Chair Chang.
Aye.
Vice Chair votes aye. Senator Moriwaki.
Aye.
Senator Rhodes.
Aye.
Senator Favela.
Aye.
5 ayes. Chair, recommendation is adopted.
Thank you. Our next measure is Senate Bill 1360 relating to HHFDC. There being opposition from HHFDC, and I also appreciated the discussion during the hearing between Senator Moriwaki and Director Matsubara. While clearly there is an issue getting the funds out to developers as soon as possible, it doesn't seem that we have consensus yet on the way to do so, and that enforcing a deadline of this nature might be counterproductive, as was raised. Members, do we have any discussion on this measure? Further discussion? Okay, if not, again, the chair will be deferring this measure. Our next bill is Senate Bill 779 relating to housing production. Again, this is another county-related bill, and again, Chair expresses disappointment that the counties did not weigh in on this measure, but there being no opposition, the chair's recommendation will be to pass this measure unamended.
Recommendation for SB 779 is to pass unamended. Chair Chang.
Aye.
Vice Chair votes aye. Senator Moriwaki.
A reservation.
Reservations for Senator Moriwaki. Senator Rhodes.
Aye.
That was an aye. Senator Favela.
Aye.
Chair, 5 ayes. Recommendation is adopted.
Thank you. Next, we have another county bill, Senate Bill 1276, relating to detached dwellings. The recommendation will be to pass this measure with amendments, and we'll be taking the amendments proposed by Hawaii Good Neighbor, first to include homes that would receive automatic approval, and then also to clarify that a county shall not deny issuance of a building permit. So those are the 2 amendments proposed by Hawaii Good Neighbor. So again, the chair's recommendation for SB 1276 is to pass with amendments.
SB 1276, chair's recommendation is to pass with amendments. Chair Chang.
Aye.
Vice Chair votes aye. Senator Moriwaki.
Aye.
Senator Rhodes.
Aye.
Senator Favela.
Aye.
5 ayes. Chair, recommendation is adopted.
Thank you. And that brings us to the final bill on our agenda today. This bill, Senate Bill 1278, relating to zoning, is a hot topic in our sister states, where in 2019 or 2020, the state of Oregon passed a very similar measure. The city of Minneapolis passed a similar measure, allowing 3 units on every single family lot back in 2019. And the state of California very nearly passed a similar measure to this just a few months ago in 2020. Recognizing that permitting 4 units on every single family unit in the state is a rather large change to zoning law, and recognizing that subsection H of this bill, as pointed out by Hawaii Good Neighbor, is the teeth of the bill, the requirement. By deleting subsection H, we'll change it into a may bill to clarify that the counties may adopt such rules. We hope to move this measure forward for further discussion, especially considering that our sister states have really taken up the banner for this concept, and it's received very little scrutiny here in the state of Hawaii. So again, the recommendation from the chair will be to pass with amendments, taking into account the amendment from Hawaii Good Neighbor to delete subsection H, as well as technical non-substantive amendments.
Chair's recommendation for SB 1278 is to pass with amendments. Chair Chang.
Aye.
Vice Chair votes aye. Senator Moriwaki.
Aye.
Senator Rhodes.
Reservations?
Senator Favela.
Reservations.
Okay, reservations from Senator Rhodes and Favela. Chair, 5 ayes. Recommendations adopted.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much to all of the members who joined us today, and as well as the testifiers. There being no further business, this hearing is adjourned.